Here is picture of Usopp getting ready to come in, fire the fire star, and help to save the day and break Luffy out of his trance because he is weak-minded fool. If you like me, follow me on social networks. One Piece, Chapter 124, The Tea is Good. Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the One Piece Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the epic and tantalizing comical tale of One Piece. Our last chapter saw Luffy and Mr. 3 going head-to-head, or toe-to-toe, however you want to sum it up, and Luffy coming out on top, only to get put in some kind of trance, it appears like, or is hypnotized, something like that, and it looks like by Miss Goldenweek from her color trap ability. So that is how the chapter ended, as of course Zoro, Nami, and Vivi are still turning to wax and basically on their way to certain peril and doom. So that is where we were left off. That's where we pick up. Luffy goes in, and it's kind of funny because they're all like yelling out to Luffy. They're like, "But you need to help us. You need to destroy this thing." And Luffy's like, "Yeah, I know, but I just don't feel like it." And they're like, "What? But you need to help us. You know, we're gonna die if you don't." And he's like, "Yeah, I know. I just really don't feel like doing that." So like, what the hell is going on, right? So Usopp comes flying in over there, and it's kind of funny because he kind of like does this hit and run deal like for this whole thing. You know, They basically notice that there is a symbol, a black symbol on the ground because Mr. 5 and what's her face, Miss Valentine, they go in and talk about it, about how there's this symbol on the ground, and as long as he's on that symbol, Luffy's not going to do anything, right? So they're obviously trying to get him to go off of his symbol. Usopp comes flying in though on Carue, and he's and his idea is like, okay, maybe I can kind of knock him out of this thing. I'll come save the day. I'll be the backup. As he comes in, Mr. 5 goes at him and throws one of his explosive boogers or something. There's a big explosion by him. And then he's like, okay, all right, we'll get out of here for right now, Carue, but we'll circle around and come back. So they go taking off, but they draw Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine after them, So while that happens, then Vivi goes and she kind of figures out, because obviously she was with the Baroque Works for a while, so she probably knows of several of the agents and their powers. So she goes and she, explains to Nami and to Zoro that basically he's, all it is that he's standing on is this paint symbol, but Miss Goldenweek has the ability to use paint and basically to paint people's emotion based on the emotional color that goes with it. So black is for like betrayal, right? So basically, Luffy is going to betray his friends and not help them while he's in that, while he's standing on that symbol. So it's kind of a cool, sort of magical chakra type deal. Pretty neat, and especially as you see some of the other colors that she uses during the course of the chapter and the fight. But Luffy winds up, we get Vivi who says, Luffy, don't help us. And he's like, huh? And she says, yeah, don't help us. We don't want you to help us or move or anything like that. So she kind of does like an opposite thing on him. So then Luffy goes and steps off of this black symbol, and Luffy's like, oh, what the hell was going on there? Okay, I finally came to my senses. I'll help you guys now, right? And he's just about to go and help them, and all of a sudden she goes and whips some yellow paint and a symbol on his back, on the back of his vest that he wears, and it's basically like it's laughter yellow is what it is. Not basically, it's laughter yellow, and so he just starts laughing his ass off, and they're like, Luffy, no, she's got it on your shirt. Take your shirt off. He's like, oh, I can't. I gotta laugh, and he's chuckling. So we wind up getting At that moment, it's kind of cool because Usopp and Carue come just charging back in, right, with Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine and Toe. They're just kind of run. It's like in a cartoon. They're just sort of running them all around the area, and they come flying in and kind of hits Luffy and sort of knocks him back. As it knocks him back, it kind of smears the paint on his back, so the symbol's not clear. So therefore, it kind of breaks the bond that Miss Goldenweek has over him, at least temporarily. And he's like, "Oh, you witch, that's it." And she's like, "Oh, you like my color, this and that." And he's like, "Are you crazy?" And he goes and he's like, Gomu, Gomu! And he goes to do bazooka, right? And she goes and whips Red down at the ground. And it's what is it, Bullfighter Red or something like that. Basically, and I don't even know why I say that so much. What it specifically is it makes Luffy go and want to attack that symbol, that color, just like a bull would come after the red flag that a bullfighter would have. So since she throws on the ground in front of him, instead of him going gomu gomu bazooka and breaking the candelabra, thus saving his friends, he goes and smashes his hands down into the ground for the bazooka. And does nothing. And then he gets all ready and he's all pissed. He's trying to break free and he's like, that's it. Gomu gomu bazooka. He does it again, you know. So she, Miss Goldenweek, of course, is kind of having a chuckle with him, like, oh yeah, well that's funny how that winds up happening, you know. So we get Usopp come charging back in, and then she's gonna finish it off. That's what was funny about the whole situation. She goes and she's like, and then I'll finish it off by creating. She's got the yellow on his shirt already, and she throws something blue at him, you know, to create like calm green. So the next thing you know, Luffy's sitting there and he's like, the tea is good, and like they're sitting there having tea and crumpets because she's eating a cookie during this whole battle. It looks like. So, she's got these little rosy cheeks like a little doll, you know, so it looks like some little English tea and crumpets type thing, you know. So she sits down and they're sitting there and they're like, God, Luffy, you idiot. And even Zoro goes and he's like, you know, once he finds out that she's got like these powers of hypnotism, he goes and he says, yeah, something like that's a really tough power, you know what I mean, to fight against, you know, especially if you're such a weak-minded fool like Luffy. So Luffy's sitting there and he's da-da-da, and they're turning into wax, right? They estimate they got less than a minute left before they're done for, you know. And and then Zoro also made mention of, I wish you two would have thought a cool, or I bet you two wish you would have thought of a cool pose like me, because he's got his arm up with a sword, and Vivi's like, you're still joking about that, but it's telling a little bit out of order. But so Usopp comes flying back in a third time now with Carue, right? And we get, and Mr. Five is just pissed off. He's just, you know, chasing him, and he's getting very angry about this. Usopp goes and he goes, Fire Star! And then most Goldenweeks like, fool, you hit your own, you know, you hit your ally, right? Well, he wound up hitting Luffy with a Fire Star, because what it wound up doing is it burned off his vest that had the two colors on it, the yellow and the blue, and then of course the other colors were on the ground anyway, so maybe it burned those up in the area, but he wasn't on them regardless. So Luffy is able to snap out of it, and that's kind of, you know, as things wrap up in the episode there, that's kind of, you know, where we're going to go with that. Mr. Five goes and chucks a double Nezpalm cannon over there at, you know, a couple of double booger bombs, I guess, you know, just double flicking over there at Usopp and Carue, and they kind of go flying through the air. But the point is that the chapter, you know, ends up with Luffy kind of, you know, finally having broke free, and he's just like, that's it. He's like, nothing else is gonna bother me now. So then Luffy's just standing there all like, you know, yeah, you know, with his shirt off, all ready to go. And I forget exactly what he says, but it's basically like, yep, I'm ready, I'm here now. So we definitely know that that things are going to turn the tides. I'm hoping Luffy will do in the next chapter. My chapter question is going to be, now that we know what Miss Goldenweek's ability is, what do you think of her ability? I'm not sure, because I haven't read far enough ahead to see it. I mean, is it just some kind of ability she has? Is it because she has consumed some devil fruit? I don't know. But I'm not really asking that. I'm just asking what your opinion is, brothers and sisters, of her ability. Seems to me like it would be helpful if you could, you know, in the heat of battle, whip a paint sign at somebody, or whip a sign or whatever. I mean, I would... I'd probably get, like, you know, signs that had, like, you know, like magnetic signs or whatever, and then you could go just whip them on the side of a car, and maybe whoever's in the car would have to listen to you then, or obey it because the sign. That's just my thought. But remember to leave your comments in the box down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button, if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you have not done so already. We will look forward to catching you in the next one, nation. Here is our good friend Luffy, and he is sitting here shirt wide open. He's saying, subscribe right now! Join the Nerd Nation! Join it! Do it! Do it now! Man, you are batshit crazy, motherfucker.